I'm nervous.
Are
I'm
you?
excited. Yeah, it's one of the biggest days of my career. Never thought when I was a kid that I'd have a film of my life showing at the Cannes Film Festival. I mean, that's the most surreal thing. It's a surreal film, and it's a surreal experience.
Why now? Why tell your story now?
It's been in preparation for 10 years, and so I always believe that things come about when they're supposed to. And David Furnish, who manages me and is my husband, we 2.5, 3 years ago, we thought about the farewell tour. And then he said, well, if the farewell's going to happen, then we've got to try and get the movie made, and then the book come out. So it's been planned, and it's good. There's an order. I mean, the tour's going on for another 2 years. The film's coming out. Then I have The Lion King coming out in July, and then the book in October. So things are just fallen into place. But it's been a lot of planning. It hasn't just happened accidentally.
Right. And David had told me that it was hard for him to watch some of the stuff you went through, watching it being shown on film. What was hard for you to watch?
It's hard to watch the family stuff, and then, the drug stuff I can handle because I know I did it. The family stuff is very touching, and it was part and parcel of the reason why I became the addict I was, because I think of my background, and I find that very touching. My grandmother I find incredibly touching because I loved her so much, and also the wonderful thing is the relationship that I have with Bernie, which is the glue of the movie, and it's Taron and Jamie Bell play both of them so perfectly, so each character, and very touching. That touches me a great deal because we've been together over 50 years, and to have this kind of relationship being so strong and so loving means a lot in this kind of business that we live in and we work in.
What would little Reginald think of you right now? Think of your life.
I think he'd like me much more than he did during certain stages of the movie, which comes across in the movie as well. I think he'd be very happy for me, and I have a wonderful life now, but I had to change it. I had to change my life really drastically. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. So I had a choice, and I made the choice, and it was the right choice. And I did a lot of hard work. It just didn't happen overnight. I changed myself, but I worked very, very hard at it. I worked as hard as I did to change myself and make myself a good person as I did to becoming an addict.
I'm sober myself.
Yeah.
So there were times when I thought I wasn't going to make it.
Right.
Were there times you didn't think you'd make it?
A couple of times, yeah. A couple of times when I was, having chest pains or, staying up for 3 days at a time and having, I used to have spasms, and I would be found on the floor, and they'd put me back to bed, and half an hour later I'd be doing the same thing.
Do you consider
It's crazy.
Do you consider yourself a survivor?
Oh, absolutely. I am a survivor. I've survived a lot of things. Life is full of, pitfalls, even when you're sober, and you have to. I can deal with them now because I don't have to run away and hide, and I have someone wonderful in my life to help me through them. But relationships are like that. David and I have been together 25 years, and there haven't been many downs, but there have been downs, and you talk your way through it. And I've learned to communicate. What I couldn't do when I was an addict was communicate, except when I was on cocaine. I thought I could because you talk rubbish. But I had I have a confrontation problem, which I don't have anymore, because I've learned how that if you don't communicate and you don't talk about things, then you're never going to find a solution.
Do you ever still pinch yourself and say, "This is my life"? How did this happen?
Extraordinary. Yeah, of course. I look at that, and I think, my God, this is only 20 years of my life. I mean, well, not really. It's from the beginning till 1990, but from 1970 to 1990 was a roller coaster of emotions and success and happiness and misery. I'm very proud of my life. I'm glad of all the experiences I went through. I'm glad, my experiences with my parents. I really value the fact that they stayed together for me when they were unhappy with each other, although I hated it. I'm glad they found love in other marriages. I've come to understand as you get older, you understand the circumstances that they went through. And I'm not angry or bitter about that whatsoever. But it did leave a scar. And that scar took a long time to heal. And maybe it will never heal totally. I don't think you'll ever get, I haven't got a lot of self-confidence off the stage. When I'm on the stage, I'm roaring. But I'm quite shy. Yeah.
Really?
I think every artist does. Every creative artist has doubt and has moments of, ugh, am I doing the right thing? Am I good enough? And I think that's what turns us into monsters as well, because I think you become unreasonable, and then of course the chemical substances and the alcohol doesn't help anything, and you lose touch of reality. And this, the life I was leading, flying on the starship, living in beautiful houses, buying things left, right, and center, was not a normal life. Not the sort of life I came from anyway. And I lost complete touch with that. And I vowed that when I did change my life, that would never happen again. And I still live the most fantastic life. But I have people that are willing to ground me, and I have children, and they ground you all the time.